So I think we're live. Everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is Vince Meza, and I'm with Listings to Leads. And I've been working with Larry for a while to get this program rolled out for your office. You may not have heard of us, and this front-end website that you're looking at right now is going to be changing really quickly, so don't be too surprised. We're actually working on a whole new front end. But we've been doing this for about 5 years, and we originally started off as a Craigslist posting company. Okay, and Craigslist was very important to marketing and lead generation for a lot of real estate agents across the country. But last fall in 2013, that kind of fell apart. Craigslist made some radical changes to their site, and even though that change occurred, we had been taking the strategies that we were applying to Craigslist and applying them to all of our tools across the board. So we're going to show you those kinds of tools, show you how you access them and what to do with them, okay? There's a couple things I want to point out, is that we have three major types of leads that we focus on. So we focus on advertising. The clients who you're working with that want to sell their homes want to get their homes sold. And so obviously we've got tools to help do that. And you can see the icons at the top. We have virtual tours, single property websites, auto upload to YouTube, ads for Facebook, flyers. We have open house tools. We auto post to a blog, and there are more tools, right? And so with all those, we can certainly help you find buyers. We can also help you build a referral base, and we can also help you generate listing leads, okay? So there's kind of three types of leads that we focus on: buyers, sellers, and referrals, all right? So you'll be able to get a user ID and password. You can talk to Cynthia about how to get that, and Cynthia, you can speak with me if you need some help there. But that's really what I want to point out. And so one thing we're going to jump into it at the end, because I know a lot of you will have listings and many of you won't have listings, or maybe you just got a couple of listings, right? And you still want to take advantage of what you can do on the internet to grow your business. And we've got some really exciting things happening right now. And one of those things, if you go find us on Listings to Leads, is we're incorporating our tools, which I'm going to show you, on Facebook, okay? And so you may have seen a lot of tools that other real estates use on Facebook. You may be posting things to Facebook, but you may not know really the best way of how to approach Facebook and how to really use it to make your business look very powerful and have people come to you and want to work with you, right? And this little blurb here, there's a just listed ad here, is from one of our offices that we rolled out, and this agent had about 5 listings, and with 5 listings used multiple tools over 30 days and generated about I guess 235 leads. Okay, now that's some high numbers, but we've got a lot of clients following this strategy and coming right back to us and saying, we did just what you did and we're getting like great results. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what people are doing. We're going to get into the Facebook piece last because that's a little more complicated. I want you to understand the basics now, right? So when you log in, when you get an ID and password, you're actually going to see a little window like this, and there's a recording talking about that very topic I was just talking about. How are you going to generate a bunch of leads with Facebook, right? And if you've never done it, there's a little bit to learn. I recommend that you learn this for the next couple years because it is very powerful right now. If Craigslist was important to real estate and is no longer, Facebook is the new Craigslist, okay? So you can, when you log in, you can go out here and click outside of that and that'll go away. And this is the home page. You can see you can join us over on Facebook. I recommend you join us on Facebook and kind of follow us and make sure that if we're saying something that you're being aware of it. We've got a lot of new tools, a lot of upgrades all the time. And we also have a lot of new tips of what's working, right? And we constantly go out to our clients and speak to them about that. But on this page here, on this home page, there's a couple things I want you to be aware of. Seller lead generation. You can click on it here. I'm going to click on it. And as I said earlier, we focus on generating sellers, buyers, and referrals. But this page right here helps you get one of the most effective seller lead generation tools created and put on the web. Okay? So right here it says step 1, is watch this video. It's going to teach you how to create the page. It takes about a minute to create a page that says something like, what is your Tempe homework? This one, number 2, says how do you take that page and put it on Facebook and drive people to that lead capture page? Okay. Number 3 is for advanced ideas. Scroll beneath. Let's just stick with the basics. Don't go to number 3. Number 1, watch this video and create that page. Number 2, advertise it on Facebook. Okay. That's right on the home page. If you want more listings, there is not a more powerful way of generating listings today than the information on that page. Okay. So the next button is open house lead generation. Our open house platform and our tools are also designed to generate leads. If you want to learn about them, click that green button and you can do it. Now let's also consider that you may not have a listing, but you're going to hold an open house for somebody else. You can still use these same tools. Just click that page there and learn about it. It's very simple. These tools you basically just got to get the listing in there and boom, all the tools are auto generated. So it's not too difficult to use it, but if you use them, they tend to generate leads. So our open house platform, we've had people come back and say, hey, in 1 week of marketing, I got 24 leads. That's awesome, right? Then there's a listing presentation, and Cynthia, if you don't have it already from Larry, please just shoot me an email and I'll send you the listing presentation. Our listing presentation talks about the technology that we provide. You'll be more familiar with it, but a potential seller won't be familiar with it. And we're not talking about listings to leads, we're just talking about your office and what you're doing to market their home. So with that, you can see what we do to market the home on the listings page, but before we go look at the listings, I want to talk about the profile. So when you get a user ID and password, you want to go to your profile page. And you can upload your own image here, and you can go here and make sure you've got your email. Make sure that's correct. Don't play with the MLS email or data feed participant ID. It's what we use to map your listings in. But if you've got another place where you want leads to go to, you could put in another email here. If you're working with somebody who maybe is an assistant and you want the tools to go to that person, you can put their email here and check this box over here so the tools go here. You don't have to. If it's just you, just leave it just as it's set. Scrolling down, I want to point out a couple things here, and you're going to learn about this in a bit. This box here should be checked, and this turns on the automation so that the tools that I'm about to show you start going directly to you. Now, the next box here actually says to send the tools directly to the seller. We recommend that because it saves you time, but I recommend that you get started just sending them to yourself, and I'll show you why in a little bit. If you have a YouTube channel, we can upload the virtual tours for your listings to that channel. If you just associate it here, you click this, and you can watch this video to show you how, and then check that box. And every time you get a listing, boom, you got a YouTube video created. These things down here, if you've got social networks, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc., you can put things there, right? And then those show up on some of the tools, not all the tools, but it just helps you sort of build this social network. So go through, check your profile out one time. You shouldn't have to come back to it. Where you will want to go to, however, is the listings page. And I'm going to click on that right now. It's on the top left. And your listings should be flowing in automatically. If they're not, come to me, shoot an email. In the future, you can go to support, but in the meantime, shoot a message to me. We'll make sure we've got this thing mapped out properly. And, excuse me. So this is what kind of the dashboard looks like to market your listings. And I'm going to kind of talk through it. The first button here is a button to edit the listing. So you can go there and change the photos, you can change the property description, all those things. Most of that stuff changes from the MLS, but if something needs to get changed, it's not there, you can just click that button. The second button here is select lead generation links, and we have, I'll show you what those lead generation links look like, but we have mapping and going to the office website so that if people want to, they can certainly contact you, but if they want to look at other properties, they can also go to the website and search. So, and then we have single property websites, we have virtual tours, we have YouTube, and then we have e-flyers and Facebook, and then we got more tools. So before I go into the more tools, I want to point out that these 4 tools here are the best tools for traffic and for lead generation in a free concept, right? Without you paying for pay-per-click advertising. This is where you're going to get the bulk of traffic and leads when you have a listing, is a single property website, the virtual tour, the e-flyers, and Facebook. Okay? So let's get into that and let's look at that. This button right here, when we click on an icon, it actually shows us the tool, and this is a single property website. And if you have a listing, a hyperlink to this tool is going to get emailed to you automatically. And it has all the things that you would sort of expect, right? Address, photos, features, schools. You can print brochures, little property details, stuff like that. They can follow the home here, right? They can schedule a showing with you, they can email you, and they can call you. But the reality is, and I'm sure you're aware, that nobody really wants to call you. They just want to look at properties. And our system takes advantage of that fact. So while they may not want this home for whatever reason, maybe they don't like the lawn, maybe they want a different color house, maybe they don't like the kitchen, who knows? They can now say, well, I don't like that, but I want to see other homes in Phoenix. Or maybe I want to see homes under 300K. And when we click a link like this, we're driving right over to the to a website designed for your office. Okay, so this may not be the one that you're used to seeing, but here consumers can search, see about 5 properties, then they're going to get asked to register, and then Larry and Cynthia can kind of round robin those things out. So that's kind of the key of what we're doing. We want to give people opportunities to directly engage with you if they want to follow this home. But if they don't, we at least want to get them somewhere where it can benefit the office, right? And find you more buyer leads. And that's what this platform does. So this is a single property website. You get this in a little email from us. When you get a listing, it says, hey, your property, here's your tools to market your property. And you get a link to the virtual tour, and you get a link to this. This is a great tool to share to various social networks. And you can see right here that there's a share button. You can share it to Twitter, Facebook, Google, Pinterest. If you've got strategies there, definitely by all means share them. It takes just a couple seconds. If you want to change the language, there's a button here that has Google Translate. You can got all kinds of languages you can translate it to, and then send it out for those people that are working in different languages. So that's the first tool, right? That's the first of the 4 to generate visibility and also buyer leads. So share that on social networks, right? I've got other tools for you, but share that on social networks. The virtual tour, you can click this button here, and we create a branded virtual tour also, right? And the branded virtual tour can be found under here. And this one you want to share inside of your system. And Cynthia, I can't remember what your office calls it, but you do have something like Crest. And if you put this virtual tour, and we'll just click on it real quick, this virtual tour showcases the home. This is actually going to be upgraded in the next few days with a completely different look, but it is going to have the same components, the information, and the lead generation links on the left-hand side. But it's going to look a lot more modern, a lot more luxury style. So but you want to put this inside of what you call Crest, and Cynthia, we can talk after the fact. It's a system that will syndicate that virtual tour with all the hyperlinks, with all your branding, to help you generate leads. Okay. You could also say, hey, I just want to take it and put it directly on Zillow or Trulia, but that's a little more manual, so I don't recommend that. Let's go back to the dashboard. And now we got 2 tools that we definitely want to talk about. And I'm going to point out something right here. If you look at, you can see in the middle of the page, there's a YouTube, right? There's a YouTube button. And underneath it, there's a green box. And what that means, green, it's our simple way of thinking. Green is money and green is opportunity, which means there's an opportunity for you to be marketing and get this on YouTube. So that means that video is not on YouTube yet because there's no YouTube account associated on the profile page. So, but the other 2 boxes, the other 2 that are black, means that those tools have been out, okay, that they're actually out, and Mary has them right now. So what I'm going to do, I should have did this before, but I was yapping and doing some stuff. I'm going to go to the profile real quick, and I'm going to put my email in there to show you kind of what's going to happen here. And I'll take this out after the call. But I want these tools to go to me so that you can see these tools as they would be arriving in your mailbox, okay? So we're getting here into two areas, and you remember at the beginning I said we focus on generating buyer leads, seller leads, and referrals. And these tools here that we're going to discuss are focused on generating buyers and referrals, okay, at the same time. So the way we get into it is we have a campaign for e-flyers and Facebook, and they're parallel campaigns. So if I click this e-flyer button, we're going to see a bunch of flyers. And I can see that this one went out August 31st, automatically went out. So let's click and see what actually went out. Click the magnifying glass here, and this opens up. And I see the Hunt banner. I see just listed. I would see the agent, and of course these links. So I don't know how long you've been in real estate, but I'm pretty sure that if you had an e-flyer, it really wasn't going to generate a lead. This e-flyer is designed to showcase the home, talk about you, get your branding out, but also give the ability for people to click on a link and go somewhere and become a lead. Right? If they don't want this home, let's go search for homes under 300K in Phoenix. Right? And so that's kind of the nature of our e-flyers. So when we click on the outside, we can look at the rest of them. And there are other flyers, and let's kind of talk through them. These automatically go out every 2 weeks, right? So the just listed goes, 2 weeks later, a single property website flyer goes, 2 weeks after that, a virtual tour e-flyer goes out. Then, if you set an open house on the edit listings page, you've got a whole toolkit for open house lead generation. If the home goes pending or under contract or things like that, you've got a tool that can sort of announce that we are now under contract, right? Or just sold. So that's because when what's going on is there are a series of events that happen around the listing, right? You might be selling that home for 2 months or 3 months, or maybe even 2 weeks. But during that process, there are certain things that happen. It becomes just listed. Maybe you want to do it as coming soon. Maybe it's under contract or act contingent. Maybe the price reduces, and then it sells. Those are all great times to get your name in front of the market and say, hey, here's where we are in the process. That concept, and that concept of we're able to take multiple times and with the same home. Certainly we can send it out via Facebook, and we can send it out via e-flyers, and that's what we're showing you here. But that, combined with Facebook advertising, is what's generating a ton of leads, right? This little thing I talked about earlier. So that's what the tools that are being used in different ways, okay? So when you get a listing, a tool is, that flyer is gonna automatically go to you. So I'm gonna click on it right now, and I am going to click send, and you're going to see a little message up on the top here, and it's going to say this has been sent to Vince, right? That's me. And there's also another tool I want to send, and it's the seller marketing report. And again, it's designed to get in front of your sellers to impress them with everything you're doing, right? It's got your banner, it's got some images of the home, and it's saying, hey, I'm doing all these things to market your home. Here are some links to that. Here are the other things I'm doing, and here's the Craigslist, et cetera, and then here you can have your picture, and I can have my logo, right? And that's, we want this is kind of wordy, there's a lot of graphics. It's meant to be impressive for your clients to know that you're doing a lot of work to market their home. So I'm gonna send this to myself right now, just by clicking send. So if you actually get something and you wanna get that out there, you can do that, right? You can just say, hey, I don't know, I lost my flyer. Let me log in and get a new one. So these tools should be in my mailbox right now, so I'm going to hop over here. And I want to look at the just listed flyer, right? And when I click this, here's that flyer we were looking at, okay? And what I want you to understand is this flyer it has a pre-written message. So the flyer isn't, I think normally when you send out an e-flyer, it's because you got a phone call or an email from somebody saying, hey, I'm interested in that home, right? Or a home. Could you send something like that to me? And that's great, right? And you send them an informational e-flyer. In ours, we want our flyers to get viral because they generate leads. They have lead generation links built all in it. So in order to do that, we pre-write a message from your seller to their friends. And you can see it right here. It says, we've hired Mary Montague from Hunt Real Estate ERA to sell our home. And this and all these other tools are, designed to increase exposure. Please forward this to as many people as you can, okay? And when people do that, they learn about you, the agent. They have multiple ways of getting to your website to search for properties, and they can interact with you about this home if they want to buy this home, right? And that's kind of the key. So we want this to get to the seller and just say, hey, you can call that seller and say, I just sent you a couple tools. I sent you a e-flyer and a Facebook ad, right? And the Facebook ad looks like this, and it has that same kind of message. And there's a message up above it. I'm going to kind of jump real quickly through it. But the message says, hey, whatever is between these two red lines, copy it and put it on Facebook. So I'm going to kind of drive into a little bit of detail here. We're not telling you, the real estate agent, to put that tool on your page. We're telling you to get that email that we just looked at, get it to your seller, and have them put it on their page on Facebook. And I'll show you why, because I'm going to paste it right now. If your clients are on Facebook, they probably have somewhere between 200 to 500 friends that have never heard of you, okay? And they now have the way of seeing this tool pop up on their newsfeed without any pay-per-click advertising or any nonsense like that. They're going to see your name. All that client had to do was copy and paste. There's your name, professionally working at Hunt Real Estate. And this is one of 6 tools that your friends, the friends and family of your clients, are going to see. So that's why you want to take that, get it to your client, follow up with a quick phone call and say, hey, would you put that on your Facebook wall? I'm doing it on Facebook here, and I'm going over to YouTube, and I got an MLS, and I'm doing all this stuff, but if you could put that on your wall, that would be great. Why? Well, one reason for you as a real estate agent is your name is now going to be in front of hundreds of people that have never heard of you, and they're going to be hearing over and over of all the tools that you're doing and all the success you're doing to sell this home. When they click on any of this tool pops up, and that is all about lead capture for you, right? So I recommend that if you don't, there are a lot of people that know about Facebook and some that use it and some that don't. It's the #2 website in the country, okay? That's because people waste hours every day on that site. So it's great if you can figure out a strategy to take advantage of that traffic, okay? And one really good strategy is just to use our basic tools like I just showed you. Those automatically get emailed to you, forward it to your seller, and follow up with a little, courtesy phone call. I just sent you an e-flyer, and I sent you a Facebook ad. Just put that on your wall and forward that email for me, right? The other tool is the last one here, and you're going to receive this automatically as well. So it looks like this, and it says, Mary, below is your virtual tour and seller marketing report and single property website. So you can share all these things right from your email. You don't need to even log in. And you could forward this to your client and say, hey, everybody, we're actually marketing your home, and here's all the things that are going out to do that, right? So it's the same thing in the email format, and you can certainly use that as well, okay? So there's 2 roles there. There's 2 things to think about the e-flyer and Facebook campaign. And that is that when you are marketing, you want to build referrals, right? I think when people talk about referrals, the way they typically do it is, let's sell the house, and when we sign the documents and shake hands, I'm going to hand you a stack of cards and please forward them to your friends when they need help, right? Well, this is a little more of an automated online way of doing that, of seeding that group of friends and family with your name multiple times. So that in many cases, our clients come back and say, I never had to ask anybody for a referral. They were already coming to me through the process, because when I was on Facebook, or when they were on Facebook, they kept seeing my name over and over from their friends, right? You can imagine if multiple agents from your office are doing this in the Tempe area and everybody's friends and family are seeing your agent's names at Hunt Real Estate, you're going to get some serious visibility on Facebook. It's the #2 website in the country. It would be great to have a very strong presence there. And with this platform, you can have it. Okay? Now, there are other tools which, the tools that really are more interesting, I think, for most agents is maybe not just listed, but definitely when it goes under contract or just sold. So let me ask you, Mary, is Mary in the office today or on this call? And Cynthia, I'll give you a second. So it doesn't sound like it. So if you wanted to change the status, like this is JL for just listed. And there can be a time when your home goes under contract. So if I click this button here, I'm going to click this button, the edit listing button. And there's an actual status that you can say, hey, I want to market this same home as active contingent or under contract or just sold. Any of those messages are basically saying, hey, we're in contract, we're excited, but Mary still feels like we should continue marketing until we completely sold the home. And that's really just speaking to your hard work, right? Of course, when it's just sold, it's congratulations, Mary sold her home, we're excited, and she's awesome. And if you want any help, please call her or email her. And it's built right into the email. So nobody has to write anything or do anything. It's just you got to forward it, and your client has to copy and paste or forward the e-file, right? So talking about just sold, under contract are great things to do. They automatically happen inside listings to leads. So I definitely want you to know that. Right now, these tools are going out to you, okay? And you just got to take the step to forward it and follow up with a little phone call. Many of your clients are going to love it because they're going to get sort of a timely, touch and a phone call, and they're knowing you're still working through this. And you're going to get exposure from that. And if you think about how you as a real estate agent are going to build exposure in real estate, aside from referrals, which are great, but that's actually a shrinking pool of business, how are you going to do it, right? I think all you can probably imagine is something related to print marketing. And if you want to do a print sold postcard or just listed, you're talking about a couple, I don't know, maybe $100, maybe a couple $100 for a X number of homes. And you might get a handful of leads, right? And you might. I have clients that do, a $500 spend on 1,000 pieces of print marketing, and they get 2 leads. So you're probably familiar with those kinds of numbers as well. In this world, in this way of using this, our clients get dozens of leads, right? Dozens. And so you want to kind of use that to build your name, build that referral network, get some buyer leads, and that's what it does, okay? So before I go into what to do with seller leads, to generate seller leads, I want to point out some of these other tools. We're just going to talk about them real high level. I don't really want you to get too involved in it because I want you to get those 4 tools that I was talking about. Now YouTube, if you got a YouTube channel, you can auto upload to YouTube, okay? We've got a landing page, which is like, when I talked about that concept of down here on Facebook of a client generating 200 leads in a month, one of the tools she was using is this advanced pay-per-click landing page. So this is a landing page for one particular home. And I'm going to kind of explain to you why this is so powerful on Facebook. This home is for sale in Phoenix, right? And this is a really old school landing page. Not too exciting and really not sexy looking to me at all. However, you can take the URL, the web address for this site, put it on Facebook and say, hey, everybody on Facebook in Phoenix, I'd like them to know that I have a home that just listed. So I want them to see this, right? And if they're interested, they'll fill it out, right? And that might cost you. This client who was using the strategy does $3 a day. And said many of the days she never got anything. But when she got something, she was getting leads. And so the max was $3 a day, and she generated over 200 leads in 30 days. So that's one of the tools, right? Over here, there are many tools, and there, as I mentioned earlier in the call, as soon as you log in, the tutorials on that and all the tools and the way to really apply that strategy, it's laid out multiple times in Listings to Leads, so you can pick it up. The QR code is for mobile. You can scan it, and people can scan it and go to a mobile website for every property. I'll tell you this, not a lot of people scan QR codes. And I think the stats are if they do ever scan a QR code, it's one in their lifetime, right? So not huge for lead generation, but definitely important to be discussing when you talk to a potential seller. Because what it really means is your home, the seller's home, is optimized for mobile. And half the people in the United States have a smartphone. So if you're not prepared to market where half the people have this tool, you're just not prepared. And now with Listings to Leads, you actually have a QR code and you have mobile virtual tours and mobile single property websites. Everything we do, we test to make sure it works on mobile. Okay. Moving to the right are a bunch of blogs. I'm going to assume that none of you do blog. If you do, you'll have an incredible amount of tools to do that. We actually auto post to a blog every one of your listings to a WordPress blog for you. So you don't even have to do it. Boom, we're doing it. Okay. Now over on Craigslist, you can click this button. There is a little video to show you how to post to Craigslist, and right here is the tool. I don't know what you know about Craigslist. It was huge. It's still very important. We do recommend that you post to Craigslist. There's a lot less competition because of the radical change that Craigslist made on their website last year. And with that decreased competition, our clients are getting leads, fewer leads, but higher conversion. So I definitely recommend it, okay? I'm gonna point out a couple of other things. Right here is a training calendar. And actually, we've got a training today on getting started, which is actually going to be very similar to what we're doing right here. But if you want to hear it again, you can certainly, we've got live training today. Right here is a recorded webinar of what I just showed you on Facebook, how this client is generating over 200 leads. This recorded webinar is another client who said, hey, I used the same strategy and I generated 24 leads in 2 days with 2 listings, okay? So it's the same thing, we're just getting so much feedback that we just keep talking about it. And we want you to learn about it because you have had access to marketing platforms before, but many of them don't generate leads. And for us at Listings to Leads, if our clients don't have leads, it just doesn't make any sense why you would go through a marketing effort. So we want you to kind of pay attention to what we're doing, recognize that we focus on lead generation, and we also focus on just making you look good, and so that's important too. But I'm going to take a breath and have a sip of coffee here. And I'm going to remind you that we just went through the tools, the 4 most important tools to generate buyers and referrals. And we're going to jump into how to generate sellers next. But before we go there, I'd like to ask if anybody has any questions in that room you're in.
Hey, just so you guys know, Blair uses this and he gets 2 leads a day.
Yeah, Blair's been a client of ours for a while. Actually, I think it's because of Blair that your office signed up. So yeah, it's cool, it works. The thing only works, I will sort of stress this, there are a lot of marketing companies in the internet, and there's some where you may sign up yourself, or there's some that the office may sign up and say you have access to. One key thing about our system is if you use it, it works. It generates leads. If you don't, it doesn't do anything. So I just want to point that out. So now let's go into this section up here in the top navigation bar called landing pages, okay? And when we go to landing pages, a landing page is like a one-page website, right? Which has no other objective other than to capture that lead. And we have landing pages for all of these areas: condos for lease, FSBOs, expireds, property valuation. What is your home worth, right? And when we click under any of these buttons, we see nothing, right? There's a location, but how can we do it, right? How can we make that happen? So let's go here, click this button that says go to landing page dashboard. And the fastest way to create landing pages is right here. And actually, you can't see it, but it says number 1, create your page. Number 2, type in the farm area. So here's a farm area, Phoenix. type it in. Did I spell that right? I did. And I'm going to click save. Capitalize it right and spell it right because that flows through all the tools. When I click save, it says your series of landing pages created successfully. I'm going to create another one too. This is in Mary's account for Tempe. And I'm going to click save. Okay. And what does that mean once I've done that? Well, that means that now I've got a page for every one of these strategies in the system. So let's look at the FSBOs. Okay. And now I've got a landing page for Phoenix and for FSBOs. So let's go look and see what those actually look like. You can click this link and say, hey, see landing page under there. And it says, hey, just because you're selling your Phoenix home yourself doesn't mean your marketing has to suffer. Get free professional tools. And people can just go, oh, okay, yeah, I want a virtual tour. I want a Craigslist ad. I want this next. The next page is, hey, what's your contact info? Why would you do that? Because many people that have FSBOs will hand it off to a licensed real estate agent in 2 to 3 months because they're tired of the process. How are they going to hand it to you if they don't know who you are? If you're one of the agents that are helping them with their marketing, there's some likelihood that you're going to get that listing, right? So there's the tool to get in front of FSBOs. You can find FSBOs on Zillow and Craigslist for free, and you can send this thing to them. Great tool. Works for a lot of people who use it. If we go back to the landing page dashboard and look at the other tools, we're just going to go through a couple here. The expired listings. You have expireds happening probably every day, but that's certainly every month. And whenever an expired happens in your town, that seller is probably getting what, 20 to 50 phone calls from real estate agents saying, hey, can I help you? So they may not want to be talking to all these people. They may, however, want to fill out something and get a little more information on what they can do to sell their home. And there is a pre-written page that you can get in front of those folks to say, hey, let's talk about what we can do to sell your home, right? So that's all created, sitting right there in your system. But probably the most exciting thing and the reason why Listings to Leads is getting a lot of visibility and real estate agents signing up is actually what's underneath this property valuation page. And this property valuation page is a different kind of landing page. When we click on, let's click on Tempe. It's going to say something, well, let's just let it pop up. What is your Tempe home worth now? There's an automatic picture in the background that's of a suburban neighborhood that could be anywhere in the country. You might have a different look in Tempe, right? You can actually go in the back of the page where we clicked on see landing page, we can click on edit, and we can upload a different photo, right? So maybe you want to have a landmark or a park or something, or a neighborhood shot or a Google Map shot. You just upload it here and it becomes the background here. And this page is generating, you know, our clients, I've been recommending putting this on Facebook advertising, do $20 a day for 3 days. And clients come back and say, God, I just generated 20 seller leads, 50 seller leads, or even 80, right? Somebody up here in the Bay Area. And it has a little bit to do with the density. And you're in a high dense area. Tempe, Phoenix, there's a lot of people there, a lot of people on Facebook. So what you actually do is you take the URL, the web address for this page, which is above the screen that you can see, and you put it on Facebook. And you say, hey, I want everybody in the Tempe zip code to see this, whether they've heard of me or not. And it's going to say something like, hey, what is your Tempe home worth? Right? And when they click it, they can fill it out. And let's see, I am going to, I don't want to shock Mary. Mary's not there, right? She's not in this call. So give me a second. I just want to find an address, and I'll show you how this works. Yeah, 6353 East Weldon Avenue. 6353 East Weldon Avenue. So what you can do is type in a address. And here's one here in Scottsdale, right? And when you click go, the page whips around and it actually shows you, oh, hey, there's Mary. Hi, Mary. It actually whips around and shows you on the Google Maps the home. And then it says, hey, we have a valuation. If you'd like a report, please fill this out. So there's kind of two sorts of leads here, right? A lot of people will get to this page and say, I don't want to give them an email address, right? And because why? I don't want to get spam. And I'm sure you see many pages where you don't want to give that email address. But at this point, Mary and probably me right now, let's go look and see if I have it. May not be here yet. I got spam all day long, but not that. I'm going to get an email that is the address so that I know that, hey, somebody at that home is interested in the property. Now, some of you say, well, that's not enough. I don't want that kind of lead. I want a lead with at least an email address and preferably a phone. So let's kind of talk through that, okay? At this point, if they put in their email address and click send now, that's going to be emailed to you. But many people will go away, right? They just won't even give you their email address. So let's go, I'm lost, but we'll find our way. Let's go back to the landing page and back to property valuations. And let's go to that place where we can edit the Tempe landing page. And we have multiple different styles of that same page, okay? And the styles are important to know. And this is all about generating sellers, so I think you should really be aware of this one. We clicked on the two-page version, and as you can recall, the first page was what's the address, and the second page is what's your email, all right? So let's click on the one-page version, and let's see what that's about. And while we're waiting for that to bake, I'm going to go over here and say, where's my email? Give me a second. Not here yet. All right. So this is the one-page version, or I'm sorry, yeah, this is the one-page version, and it looks very similar, but actually, if I put in a address, and I'll just click that, oh yeah, and it actually hit enter, it wouldn't give me anything without putting in my name and email, okay? So that page right there, sorry, I'm struggling to get this, won't actually do anything if I click send without putting in the name and email. So if you really want the email address, use this one-page version. Then, if you want to be really restricted and say, hey, I got to have a phone number, I don't even want to leave without a phone number, click that button. I do not recommend that, and we do not recommend that you require a phone number at all. And just so we understand each other very clearly, if you want a lot of leads, you want to use the two-page version that asks for the address only. Now, you may feel like, hey, if I just have addresses, at least I know who's there, and I've got some print marketing, and I can put them in a process, and I'm going to have more leads, and I'm going to do that footwork. If you feel like, no, I don't even want a lead if there's not even an email associated with it, use this. You will get fewer leads requiring an email, right? I think that's probably obvious. You're just going to get fewer leads. But if that's what you're happy with, that's awesome. You got both tools. Now, there's also over here another kind of tool, which is let's just say the one-page location autofill. So if I click this one, same kind of landing page, but there's a little bit of technology built in here, and we'll give it a second because I'm running here, and it says, okay, allow this pop-up, and it says, is this okay? Is that your address? And I'm going to say yes. Now it's giving me an error because I need to actually have my what do you call it? My email address there. But it's actually seeing an address and saying, yeah, is that your address? And you could just say yes, right, or no. And so it's auto-populating the address for us. That's kind of cool technology. It's not mind-blowing, but it's cool if you want to use it. And again, it's focused on generating leads. So I think I see a question here, and let me make sure. Oh, that was it. Okay. So these are the tools in the landing page area that are really designed to generate seller leads. And if you go follow us on Facebook and you kind of see what real estate agents are doing, they're using that property valuation page. I just showed you the multiple version. They're using a couple dollars a day for Facebook pay-per-click advertising because you're able to restrict the criteria to a particular zip code, and only people in that zip code can see it. And then, of course, you got the FSBOs and expireds. So those are great tools. People are signing up every day just to use those tools. Okay? Now, obviously, if you've got listings, you can put your listings in there and market it in all those ways I just showed you. Right? A couple of other kind of like high-level things, and I'm going to kind of repeat myself. Over here on tutorials, there's a lot of video tutorials, right? A lot of Q&A if you need help in certain areas, right? You can type in Facebook, you can type in seller leads, you can type in virtual tours and things like that. And you can learn everything that I'm covering, and I'm sure you'll forget a little bit of what I'm covering. There's also a page here for contact support, and we do have a dedicated support team, and they're going to answer your questions. Now, you're always welcome to kind of ping back and go to me, but just so you know, it's best to communicate with me via email, and I'll certainly call you as soon as I can, but I'm on the phone a lot. So if it's kind of a simple question, you can go here and they'll help you out really quickly. And so back on the home page, I just want to repeat this. We just talked about seller lead generation, but everything you need to know is under this green button that says seller lead generation. Okay? It repeats exactly what I just showed you. Open house lead generation, right there. Listing presentation, we're going to send to you. Okay? Your listings end up here in this system automatically. Many of the tools are going to get emailed to you automatically. Today we talked about what those tools look like and what you should do with them, and take advantage of them. Because really, I don't know of many systems that generate leads and help you market as effectively or efficiently as this system. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions again, and we'll see if there's anything else.
I'll get your username and password today, and I can send you a recorded version of this webinar that introduces everything, and that way you can sit and watch it at your leisure, and if you miss anything. I know our connection isn't all that great, so you might have missed a few things here and there, so we'll make sure you get that. And then he's always available to us. Vince is our rep, and he's always available. Like I say, he's on the phone a lot, but...
Yep. So if there are no questions, I just want to thank everyone for your time. I think you do have a recording that I gave to Larry a couple weeks ago when we did this call for the other office, but I'm going to put this up online, and I'm going to have this as a resource for you as well. Okay? And as Cynthia said, certainly feel free to reach out to me, and let's do it. We're going to do everything, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you get the most out of this platform. There are more tools, but those are the basics. Buyer leads and referrals right here, seller leads up on that landing page section, and just as a reminder, go to our listings to leads page and get your arms around this strategy, because I think in real estate, this particular Facebook pay-per-click stuff is probably the most exciting thing going on in real estate right now. And combined with our tools, it generates a ton of leads. So thanks a lot, everybody.
I'll call you in a little bit.
Yeah, Cynthia?
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, everyone.